Hi, I'm Britt Gabor. I'm the Technical Committee Chair for the American Society of Home Inspectors. The Hudson Valley chapter of the American Society of Home Inspectors presents its 5th annual Historic Homes Seminar. Located at West Point Military's Academy, the Warner House is located on Constitution Island, and today's inspection will go through that property looking for defects. This chain used to connect Constitution Island to the mainland. We're walking up the path to the Warner House. Parts of this house have existed since Revolutionary War days. We're taking a look at the roof area. The roof was just installed a few years ago. It's already deteriorating due to lack of airflow under the shingles. Here it shows a side view. Our flashings coming up the building, showing signs of deterioration along the shingles. The flashings themselves are copper. We can see the paint peeling at different locations due to lack of airflow. This paint is peeling off. The building was painted approximately 2 years ago. The shingles are showing deterioration. Here you can see 2 different colors of shingles based on deterioration, based on weathering. This location shows the paint peeling off and dry rot occurring. This area was fixed and repaired approximately 2 years ago. The paint is showing massive signs of deterioration and failure. The siding itself is sealed too well, sealing moisture into the surface. These locations are visible on all sides of the building except on the south sun-facing side. This is one of the original walls of the building. Here we have the metal cleats holding the front wall on, facing towards the dock area. The metal cleat of this location is pulling out. Here's the German siding, front wall of the building. It is attached to the rock facing. It is starting to pull away. We can see the waviness in the front of the structure at this location. That's the interior wall falling in and pushing it away. There's also termite damage visible at the bottom of that wall. This stone foundation is part of that rock wall that was excavated a few years ago, trying to find the source of settlement in that location. The front walls facing towards the south, the sunny side, aren't showing the paint deterioration and massive signs of deterioration that we see in other locations. The floors on the front porch were redone. They were done with probably number 3 grade pine. You can see the sap on the wood. This is not historically significant, and a different type of wood should have been used. In the attic, we can still see the original post and beam construction, the wooden pegs, again historically significant. Here we see new wood in the rafters. The rafters don't continue down to the floor. They're not supported properly, causing creeping of the attic and the roof structure itself. Here's the front wall. On the south side of the structure, it's falling in, causing deterioration. On the interior plaster walls, this painting was done approximately 2 years ago. Due to high humidity levels, the paint and the plaster are peeling off, as you can see with this potato chip type peeling. As we look into one of the interior rooms, we can see the black ceilings on the interior of this room. That's mold growing on the ceilings. We can see the green areas, which is the underlying plaster color bleeding through. Here we have someone touching the plaster ceiling, and we can see the chalkiness occurring. This is a defect that needs to be corrected.
We're all trying to be good stewards, and this advice to us is like gold, so I really appreciate it. We're only open for tours on Wednesdays and Thursday afternoons now, and the occasional Saturday event. I think if we were part of a National Park Service, we would probably be open probably 300 plus days a year.
My advice is if you can't afford to really heat the building, which means certain retrofits have to be done, you have to study, you're dealing with a historic environment in the building. We come along with our little hat that says we know everything today because we're smarter, and we change the environment without understanding the original environment. So you stick heat in that building, and somewhere you're going to invite termites to this place where you already have them over here in this place, because moisture is going to happen. So unless you can really study the building and you can assure the future and put a radiant system in there or something like that, I wouldn't touch that thing with heat, and I would open it up so you get airflow through the building. It's air that's going to save you.
We do that a couple times every week in the wintertime.
Well, the problem is every day the sun comes up and sets.
Right.
And you'll get a lot of that, what's called thermal shock, is that the sun peaks up over that mountaintop or whatever it comes up over and hits
Right.
that east wall and it's just slamming it with a sledgehammer
Yeah.
thermally.
Yeah.
And the dew point in that wall is much higher than the north wall because it's much, that heats up
Sure.
slowly.
Sure.
Even the space heaters in the building at this point are detrimental to the building.
Absolutely. Space heaters would be detrimental to the building.
I noticed there were space heaters in each one of the rooms.
Well, if you look straight above, there's an end cap missing on the gutter that the gutter's pouring right on that wall. I mean, if you work on those gutters, you're gonna do so much good to that structure that it's gonna be like night and day. It could actually prolong a lot of these problems, till you can get to them. But that gutter system needs to be addressed. There's missing downspouts on some of the structures. There's actually some of the older wooden gutters that are actually pulling off the structure, that are not even catching the water anymore. You got to have somebody go in and look at all the entire system to divert the water as far away from the structure as possible.
Anytime you seal a building, just use the analogy of putting a plastic bag over your head. What happens? If the shingles can't breathe, they will not last as long as the 18 to 30 years they might last. Now, unfortunately, one of the 10 most common made mistakes in the United States restoration efforts is the misjudgment that they had these crude crap-ass shingles like the ones that are on your roof. They did not put rough shingles up on the roof.
Cistern, the largest cistern's about 4.5 to 5 feet deep. And that
The one
is
that's
fi-
behind the kitchen.
Yes, and that's,
Okay.
that's actually the middle one is the largest one. And she's cistered up with drain pipes going into our overflow. All right, so but they're all filled with stone and rock. And then it's pitched off into the next one, into the drain system that goes out, down the hill.
So you turn them into kind of dry wells then, more or less.
They could be, yeah.
Opportunity here to do a wrap-up. You have correctly identified the problem. It's the roof, the sheathing, and lack of breathing at the rate that it used to historically in the attic. It's the gutters and downspouts, the discharge of the downspouts and the overflow into a cistern, which is very disadvantageously located now under the house. And there's no way for that water to get out of there. It goes in fast, comes out slow, and guess what? You got all kinds of problems. It has been suggested here that you need to fill those cisterns and discharge in any other manner except under the house. And it's also been suggested by two of our colleagues that you use dehumidification by mechanical means. None of this is wrong. But one of the things that I preach over and over and over again is before you commit to the big mechanical systems, do the least is best approach. In fact, in anything you do in a building and suggest for renovation or restoration or just a rehab, least is best approach. Find the problems, identify the causes, prioritize those, and simultaneously do remedial stabilization. My recommendation is you have it all identified, go for drying up those cisterns first. If you get rid of the source of water into the house other than natural humidity, it should take care of the problem. 90% of all basement leaks are groundwater problems because gutters and discharge and negative drainage. Okay? And if you take care of the under the building problem with the water collection system, you may not have to do it. If you don't take care of it that way, then what he's talking about and our other colleague over here is talking about is the way to go.